What makes a game successful? The obvious answer is gameplay. From Tetris to Minecraft to PUBG and Skyrim, sales have shown time and time again that gameplay is king and really interesting stories just aren't necessary to sell a game. While I very much disagree about what makes a game great, I can accept that I'm just not on the winning side of the debate. So this video isn't going to be for your statistically average gamer. It's going to be for the ones like me that can put gameplay to the side in order to enjoy the other things that only games can provide, really being part of the story. I was going to break this game down in my usual manner, talking about the gameplay and the story and the world and the music, so on and so on, but honestly I just can't really be bothered. Don't get me wrong, we're going to talk about a lot of that, but I'm also going to gloss over a lot of what I usually talk about and deem necessary. I'm going into this with no restraint on spoilers, but guys, this game was removed from digital stores over 2 years ago, and unless you already have it, you're not likely to play it again, so there's not really a reason to tap out here. Maybe if enough people actually care to see the game start to finish, I'll stream it. Leave me a comment if you actually want to see that. I really doubt you do for some reason. For now though, let's get into Alpha Protocol. So where do we start with Obsidian's espionage RPG? In my Cyberpunk video, I talked about there not really being an aha moment. There wasn't a place I could point to and say, damn, that right there is why I fell in love with this game. But in Alpha Protocol there is. There's lots of them. Unfortunately, there's as many moments you could point to as to why you might hate this game, but we'll reserve that for the gameplay portion of the video. Trust me, there's going to be plenty of it. We're going to talk about several of those aha moments, and a great deal of them happen to be moments involving specific characters and their arcs. So I think the absolute best thing we can do is get an insight into a character with no arc at all. That's all the better for it.
Gonna be hard getting that stuff down his throat. Want me to get a funnel?
A funnel? Yeah! That's a killer idea! So you remember where they are now, do you? Candy dish. Ah, that does it, Wen. You know I don't like sweet... Oh, the candy dish! That's right! That's where I left my keys. Should have said something earlier, Wen. You see what I almost made you drink?
Isn't he just the best? Like most RPGs, Alpha Protocol lives and dies on both its characters and the world they inhabit. From Steven, who keeps me up at night, to the poor judge of character in Marburg, to Zai, the mercenary I don't think she's a mother, actually. So, Zai, the super horny mercenary. There's this huge web of overlapping interests and opinions that will line up in ways you just can't predict. Like the fact that if you fought Marburg in Rome before you meet Zai in Moscow, she'll give you a positive reputation with her before you even meet because they have beef. As far as characters, I think the best to discuss will be our two redheads and Oben Dang. Can't hurt to talk about the Braco boss fight either. To start off with, let's look into Mina, who will be your closest companion over the course of the game, following you from start to finish. Mina will be the one to warn you of the incoming missile strike in Saudi, giving you time to avoid it. She'll provide you with intel, safe houses, and gear around the world that you'll use to investigate and tear down both Alpha Protocol and Halbeck. She'll be the only constant positive thing in your journey, and her friendly voice in your ear will literally provide you extra endurance during missions. On top of that, she's human, judging you for choosing the one over the many in Rome, or carelessly harming the innocent. She'll get her feelings hurt when you choose a different handler over her, and if you email her too many jokes, she'll send you 25 grand to stop. Wait, what? Yeah, no kidding. It's great, but we'll cover emails in a bit. You'll likely grow close to Mina over the course of the game, and she's even a romance option towards the end, but there's a catch. She's loyal to you, supportive of you, and always there for you, but probably not for the reason you think. It turns out she was sent in undercover to spy on the goings-on in Alpha Protocol, and was directly responsible for you getting burned as a way to use you as a way to dismantle the agency from the outside. Like most characters, she has her own agenda, but can be won over to your side. What was once all about the mission is now about her friend Mike, and probably the guilt she feels for what she did to you. You get to decide how you feel in relation to her differing motivations, but as for me, I'm still saving her in the end because she's great. So I mentioned two redheads. What about the other one? Scarlet Lake, who you'll meet in the plane out of Saudi Arabia, takes an interest in you. Even if your opening line doesn't exactly leave her impressed, she gets a good feeling. Small side note, I literally told her right here to her face when I met her that I was a spy, and I really wish she brought this up later when she asked me to be honest about who I was, but I digress. You'll likely talk to her most often over email as she checks in with you from wherever she is, and when you uncover interesting information, you can feed it to her to write stories about, on top of what she's working on in Taipei, which is where we'll bump into her again. Stop real quick. For this, we kinda need to talk about the entire Taipei hub to understand the story she's pursuing and why we're here. You'll be going there to stop the assassination of President Ronald Sung. After some favor trading and some snooping, you'll be intercepted by one Omen Dang, who provides one of the neatest details I've ever come across in a game, as he reacts to what clothes I choose to wear on this covert rendezvous.
Points for considering camouflage, Agent Thornton, but try something that blends in with the civilians more than the surroundings. Looks like you came prepared for anything, Agent Thornton. Not sure what to expect from me? Trying to blend in with the locals, Agent Thornton? Good fieldcraft.
I love Omen Dang. He's slick, he's well-informed, disciplined, intimidating, and overall just great. He'll put you through the gauntlet as you work to stop him from his assassination mission, only something feels wrong once you finally catch him. I didn't catch it on my first playthrough, but it's pretty obvious on a second run. When you finally catch up to him, he doesn't leave you to his men who are numerous, but rather chooses to stand and fight. You could attribute this to ego, but something is off. Even when you get him alone and Mike acknowledges that he's missing his chance to take out Sung, he's not bothered by it, willing to stick to the shadows and keep you busy instead. Then when you beat him, he looks so, pardon the phrasing, but defeated, accepting of his failure. He proclaims that even if you get away with killing Sung, his people will make you pay. But of course, you're not there to kill Sung. And if he's not there to kill Sung, it's at this moment it dawns on both of you that you've been played as we turn to see the president being hit by a concealed sniper. So you and Ullman both spent this entire time chasing around after each other, and it turns out the real killer was right under your nose the whole time in one Miss Scarlet Lake. Yep, it turns out she's a contract assassin for Halbeck and uses her photojournalism as a means to move freely around the world from target to target. The lesson here is clear. Don't trust outward appearances, and of course, never trust redheads. So let's take a quick detour into gameplay so that I can discuss Constantine Brayko. Oh boy, where do I even start with this? Look what I just found, a new problem, just deciding what footage I want to use first. Jesus, you're trying to convince people this game is good. They're never going to play it anyway, it's fine. In Alpha Protocol, you can actually take any path to victory you want. You can sneak, suffocate, stab, shoot, or super cool firebomb your way to victory however you want, but the game does seem to encourage you to be sneaky through the mechanics, whether that was intentional or not. So you're going to be seeing a lot of these animations over the course of the game. Here's what I just noticed. The lethal knife to the neck is a great way to quietly subdue an enemy. So is a rear naked choke or collapsing a windpipe in one of two ways. One thing that isn't going to lead to someone's rapid not awakeness is this, which is actually probably one of the first takedowns you'll see in the game. Guys, look, I'll double check with a professional, but I'm 99.99999% sure this would not leave someone unconscious, nor would it be quiet. I mean, yeah, a hard kick to the body can put someone down, but as far as I can tell, he's not targeting the liver, unless this is an alternate universe. And that's what you're going to need for a turn the lights off moment. And yeah, maybe after a throw like that, you hit your head, but is that what we're counting on? This sounds like a lot more like screaming in pain over a dislocated shoulder than being silently unconscious to me. I don't know, man. That's just tough. It's neat, I guess. So yeah, stealth, since we're getting into it, it's just so damn odd in this game. There's a moment where it feels like the level design is giving you all the opportunities you need to ghost through an area. When it works, it feels fantastic, but more often than not, you'll be leaning heavily into abilities. There's two abilities in this game that absolutely destroy the balance, but because of the way it's designed, it's often necessary. These two abilities are Shadow Operative, that turns you literally invisible, and Chain Shot, which gives you free, rangeless headshots, up to 6 by the time it's fully leveled. The Chain Shot isn't designed to be used in stealth, but in a lot of cases it becomes necessary, and let me show you why. Even on normal, a shot to the head isn't a guaranteed silent kill. Even with tranquilizers that guarantee one shot to the head will put an unaware enemy down, there's the possibility that in their last milliseconds of consciousness, they'll squeeze off a round that'll alert all nearby enemies. Also, just putting it out there, guys, this is bad gun safety. So instead of using Chain Shot to put down multiple enemies in combat, you'll start using it to make sure your stealth kills are stealthy by simply hitting someone in the head with 3 bullets at once instead of 1, which firing your gun more than once seems less stealthy. I don't know. This isn't the only thing Chain Shot does, however. It absolutely destroys boss fights. If I add up all the footage from all the boss fights in the game without even cutting out the breaks some of them take in the middle to hide from you, or the fact that 2 of them are entirely optional, it comes out to 4 minutes and 55 seconds. That's only 20 seconds longer than it took me to beat the Spectre Visir in the Mass Effect Shadow Broker DLC, and that was with a squad of 3 versus her 1 with rifles and abilities, not one guy against a boss and a bunch of goons while carrying a pistol. Do you have to use it? No. But these fights aren't really better designed if you don't, so why not? It's not like Darcy's gonna get more exciting because you decided not to cheat just like he did. Shadow Operative does to levels what Chain Shot does to boss fights. Early game, it's actually mostly fine, as it only lasts for a few seconds, but late game with it fully leveled along with acquired perks making it even better, I mean, Jesus, just look at it. Can you imagine finding these guys after Mike left the area and they all just go, an invisible guy punched us all in the throat? I'd be fucking baffled. The best part is that these 2 abilities make pretty much all the other ones reserved to you being bored rather than finding a genuine use for them. I used Silent Running a total of once in the campaign in Fury just for the fun of it. But anyway, one more negative and then I do actually have some interesting positives to bring you. The gunplay in this game is honestly ridiculously bad. SMGs, shotguns, and rifles are essentially pointless. We've talked about how the pistol with Chain Shot is the most effective weapon in the game, but would you like to know what the second most effective weapon in the game is? It's the pistol while blind firing behind cover. No, I'm not joking. Here's why. In Alpha Protocol, you need to wait for your aim to focus on an enemy, and getting hit will interrupt this, which in theory means that you'll be punished for poor positioning and will have to peek at intelligent, measured moments. What this actually means is that you'll use the pistol exclusively because you can fire accurate shots from cover and never have to worry about it. There are people out there who will talk about the infamous hard mode run with SMGs. Don't do it. It's awful, and you won't have fun. Moving on. Okay, so I said there's positives to the gameplay after saying every single part was terrible. So what was I talking about? Well, in one of these interesting cases where the story or lore, depending on how you look at it, will have a positive effect on gameplay, which at least in my experience is a rare thing. Over the course of the game, you can learn information about people and you'll begin to form their dossier that will tell you things about them. This is also true about groups. And this information will tell you how to deal with guards from various organizations. For example, you'll learn that Marburg's men are well trained and unlikely to fall into traps, also liking to deploy their own traps and use extensive explosives. So you go and play the final mission in Rome against them. And guess what? It's hard to get them to hit traps. They set out their own traps for you, and they like to throw grenades. The Russian mafia is noted to try and overcome their enemies with aggression and overwhelming numbers. Can you guess? You'll have tons of poorly armed or armored enemy. Okay, tracksuits. They're not poorly armored, they're in tracksuits, alright? It's Russia. But they'll come at you with shitty AKs and try to kill you, and you'll pop off one by one. In my experience, the dossier info is almost always accurate, which would be super cool if I couldn't get around all these different combat ideologies with invisible throw punches. Look, I don't have a ton great to say about the gameplay, but you got Kingdom Come last week. I can't spend 2 videos in a row raving about great gameplay. So instead, we're going to talk about Braco! Yay! Constantine Braco is an awful person, but an awesome boss fight. Not because of the mechanics. Chainshot is more than willing to rear its ugly head. But fighting a coked-up gangster with a purple leopard skin jacket, dual-wielding gold-plated SMGs, and charging you with a switchblade after taking a bump, all while turn up the radio blast in the background, is just fucking hilarious. Especially running around the table trying to get away from his switchblade while his coke-fucking-fueled rampage fucking fizzles out. Honestly, everything about this is great, but here's where it got me. I've done various playthroughs in the game, but with Russia often being over 6 hours in for me, I didn't remember the different ways in which Braco will react if you choose to execute him. If you choose not to talk to him, he'll retreat in fear, not prepared to die. But if you talk to him first, not only will you learn the truth behind his former partner's motives, but when you choose to execute him, he'll take it with good cheer, telling a joke before he dies, as if you've given him the time to accept his fate. I still only killed him because I needed footage, but I don't know, this is a nice detail for me. Look, there's tons of interesting characters in this game, and I can't talk about all of them, but I hope I've at least scratched the surface for you in terms of demonstrating how interesting the writing in this game is. From agents working in the shadows to the M60 mommy herself, there's a ton to explore in this game. I guess all that's left to touch on are the emails and the ending, so let's run through the email system really quick. Essentially, the people you interact with will send you emails from time to time, either to talk about missions, past or present, send over intel, or just to chat and catch up. These emails are pretty much reserved to Mina, Scarlet, and Heck, and whoever you went on a mission with last, but they're very welcome nonetheless. And they also play a part in your relationships with these people. I mentioned earlier that if you send Mina too many jokes, she'll send you a Swiss bank account with $25,000 in it to please stop, which is a joy, but it doesn't stop there. Occasionally in missions, you'll find info that's worth money to the highest bidder. Usually it's some shady thing Halbeck did. And the morally correct thing is often to pass it off to Scarlet for a quick $1,000 and to let her run a story on it, but that's not your only option. You can pass it along to a black market dealer who will use that information to take down Halbeck in some small way. Or if it's something I don't think is world-ending and I'm in need of money, I might pass it off to Halbeck themselves for a bigger payout in exchange for my silence on the issue. I only passed info to Halbeck once, but I got this hilarious reply where he informed the man who was in the act of blackmailing him with his stolen emails that it was in fact illegal to do so and was written at the bottom of the email. Good luck with that. What Scarlet lacks in financial incentives, she makes up for in hilarious replies with things like saying people who use smiley faces should be shot and left to die of rectal bleeding, or how if there's no midget porn, there's no story, which are honestly worth the lost revenue if you ask me. The email system is one of those things that absolutely didn't need to be there, and one the game is absolutely better for having. Shout out to whoever at Obsidian put it together. The last thing I want to touch on is, well, the ending. I know I generally have sections for music and DLC, but, well, this game kind of has neither. The music exists and is fine, I suppose, but it certainly isn't interesting enough to elicit a response worthy of discussing, which is a greater sin in my eye. To put it on the scale, nothing ended up in my playlist. I don't even know the names of any of the tracks, if I'm honest with you. And there's no DLC, so there's that. Moving on. There's so many different ways the last level can go that I can't possibly get into all of them, but that's the fact that I actually want to talk about. Alpha Protocol is likely to play so differently for each and every person, which isn't as common as you might imagine, although not entirely original, of course. Because I did several playthroughs, I got several opportunities to play out this ending, and I'd like to take you through a couple of them that I did. The first 2 endings I did were with Heck and G22. They were mostly the same, and pretty much in line with what I usually do before I decide to make a video about this game. Steven Heck's being a no-nonsense vengeance trip with the only people left alive being me, Mina, and Steven, which I have to say was incredibly satisfying. The G22 ending for me, involved a little more talking, partnering with Scarlet Lake towards the end, although still saving Mina, and choosing to drag Leyland through the court system rather than kill him, which I admit I found slightly less satisfying. The other ending I saw, however, was something really fun. One of the ballsiest choices I think the game gave you is that after an entire campaign working to take down Halbech, you're allowed to join them after just a short conversation with Leyland. And while I think for most players it's going to be a fat fuck no, I can imagine a world where after all he's been through, Mike finally caves and accepts the fact that he can't beat the scale of a corporation, so he might as well join them, even to take them down from the inside. On this run, I decided to just kind of make Mike an asshole. So I joined Leyland, chose Zai as my handler, and after some slightly less than consensual sexy time, left Mina to die, told Westridge what I thought of his Falling Orders excuses, and then shared my thoughts on betrayal with Leyland.
Going to kill me then?
Yeah. I think I'm enjoying being a free agent. But I need you out of the picture. For peace of mind.
Indeed. Not really surprising, but... well, you did already give me the evidence.
I did. I thought I gave you one of my minds.
What?
Terrible last words.
I almost fell out of my chair laughing when Leyland went flying. This certainly isn't my usual playstyle, but hey, if the option's there, why not? This is far from the greatest final mission I've ever played, but it's so incredibly Alpha Protocol. Terrible boss fights, glitch backgrounds, some guy clipped into an elevator, and an endless opportunity to express yourself. As with all things in the game, the depth is found almost exclusively within the narrative, but I love that. I especially love the feeling of playing the long game so often. Like with leaving Shahid alive, but finally after so long taking him out because you weren't really going to work with a terrorist leader. You just needed to use him for your own gains. Or using the people within Alpha Protocol, like Parker or Leyland, as tools to tear down what they themselves built. Finally turning all the tools that were brought to bear against you back around on those that betrayed you. It's not the best thing we could have gotten, but it's the one we deserved. I love Alpha Protocol. I get why it didn't succeed, I really do. In a world of Mass Effects, Witchers, Red Deads, New Vegas, holy shit, what a busy year for gaming. As sad as it is to say, without the faith from their publisher or the time to finish it, there was just no way that Obsidian's great idea was ever going to be given a chance. Like so many great ideas, bad timing and poor execution led to something with the potential to be something truly incredible, turned into something forgettable. But not to me. Oftentimes I'll dive back into a game that I've decided I want to talk about, and it's the fact that it's so much better than I remembered that motivates me to write about it, but this is the exception. Alpha Protocol is undeniably a bad game, but in such a lovable way. I can't help but want more of it, even though I know I'm never going to get it. I think we're going to do something a lot simpler and hopefully more fun next, but I have a real Jimmy Rustler floating around in my head that I might want to get going, so we'll see which one comes first. My schedule through October looks relatively solid within Modern Warfare 2 or Gotham Knights review. Let me know which one you guys would rather see. Rounding out the month, but after that, I'm a little stuck. The Outer Worlds, Red Dead 2, and Bully are all floating around in my head, but if there's anything you'd like to see me cover, throw it in the comments and I'll give it a look. Although if you say Mass Effect Andromeda, I'm going to come at you real sideways, so get ready for an argument. That about wraps it up, guys. I've been informed by my friends I'm now getting enough views that I have to ask you to like and subscribe, so do that. Or don't, I guess. I'm not your dad. Also, my Twitter is in the description if you're looking for updates on what's coming. Anyways, thanks for making it to the end of the video, and I'm extremely grateful for the support. For now, though, this is Purple signing off. Have a wonderful night, and always remember to smile.